can you discuss any of the various incentives and rebates available for building owners investing in solar energy, and maybe why they should invest in solar energy?
Mark's well versed in that, and it's his turn.
So, I mean, I think overall now there's no time than now to do this, and
Yeah.
there's always been what's called the ITC, which is your investment tax credit. That's been going on for over a decade now, but it was always uncertain year to year. But in 2022, when the Inflation Reduction Act was turned on, basically
Passed into law.
Passed into law. That's the word. It's really has taken a big step forward. So now the ITC is now guaranteed for 10 more years through 2033. Along with that is now big thing, which really is that nonprofits who don't pay taxes really can never take advantage of that. So now there's new parts of that allow like a church organization or some nonprofit to take advantage of that 30% through cash grants. So that's kind of opened up possibilities for nonprofits to go solar as well. So, and then besides that, now there's a domestic content adder, so that if you buy 40% of your system up on solar system is made in the U.S., you get another extra 10% of cash back of your system. If you are in what's called the energy community, it might be some place where a coal mine is shut down and the town is sort of hurting from fossil fuel, not using it, you get an extra 10%. And then there's an extra 10% or some amount of money for low income communities. So, on the federal side, there's more than ever, there's the access to money, depending on where you are and what's going on. Besides that, more and more states have their own incentives. More and more utilities are doing incentives, or riding that wave and doing incentives for people to put in solar. And then another big one is that we actually have utilized is the USDA, another federal agency. You don't really realize it, that they have what's called a REAP program, Renewable Energy something, REAP, where you can get a big chunk of it varies from quarter to quarter, but you can get a big chunk, upwards of 50% back if you're in a rural area, an area that's designated as a rural area, that if you are in compliance with that, you get even more money. So there's a lot of incentives that stack up. And, we've seen this firsthand where you can get, almost an entire system paid for by just having the right combination of incentives from federal, state, utilities, the USDA, they really add up. So there's no time like now to do solar.
Those incentives vary from place to place. Like the local utility may have some incentive available, and in the next county maybe it's not. It's a different utility or whatever. And in different states, those things vary a lot.
Yeah.
But a good resource is a government website called Desire, not DE, but DSIRE.
USA.
If you plug in the E, you're apt to get some weird websites.
So it's DSIRE.USA.gov, is it?
I can't remember if it's .gov or .org or what.
But it's Desire USA.
All right, we'll put that in the show notes.
You plug in a zip code and it tells you everything you have access to. Federal, state, local, everything. So it's really good. It's a good clearinghouse for information. But the bottom line is you have the federal stuff. States vary. Some states are better than others. Some utilities are better than others. And then there's this overriding federal REAP grant that you can get if you're in the right rural area that's designated.
I think what really matters at the end of the day is, when does the system become cash positive?
Yeah.
So, you're spending some money up front to get it installed. It's saving money by virtue of your reduced electric bills, or elimination in some cases of electric bill. And so the bottom line question is, when does it pay back? If that system is going to generate electricity for the next 35 years, At what point does it become cash positive? And to give you some examples, with just the ITC, the investment tax credit of 30%, and what's called the MACRS, that's Mark can tell you what that acronym means, but it's in essence, it's accelerated depreciation, where you take like 80% of the value and depreciate it in the first year. So the end result is that just with those two incentives, most systems become cash positive within 6 or 7 years. And then they're generating electricity for the next 28 or 30 years.
Right.
It's free. It's free at that point, right?
Wow.
So that's why it generally makes economic sense. In fact, a few cases in point, we have 3 solar projects that are in various stages. The one going on our office building here right now became energized a few days ago, last week. And that system is subject to another incentive, the REAP grant that Mark mentioned. And that system will pay for itself within about 18 or 20 months.
Wow.
The system we installed 2 years ago on our plant in Texas, our manufacturing plant, paid for itself the day it was energized. It was cash positive.
Whoa.
And it will save us somewhere in the neighborhood of $800,000 in electricity costs over the life of that system. I mean, it's pretty serious money.
Wow.
A lot of people just don't believe it because it's too good to be true, But in fact, the third facility is in the same situation as the one I just mentioned, our plant. It's also in Texas, and it'll be cash positive day one.
Right. And what sets that apart from our headquarters is that the utility in North Texas actually gives money. It has its own incentive, which is significant, that it helped.
Yeah, 25 to 30%. So if you're doing the math, and then you add the accelerated depreciation in there, there are a lot of systems that are cash positive within 2-3 years.
If your roof needs answers, subscribe now to the AskARoofer podcast. We've got your questions covered, one episode at a time. Go to AskARoofer.com to submit your questions and learn more. Stay tuned and keep those questions coming.